time for a quick take. What is loaded with playoff implications is when the Vikings play the Lions next week on Sunday night. And it looks like, Dan Orlovsky, that Sam Darnold is the dude maybe going forward for the Vikings after this season.
The moment when Kevin O'Connell looks at him, that's the moment when I think it is we can't let this guy walk out of our building. We've got a guy that we can win a Super Bowl with. And I think Kevin O'Connell just standing there. I mean, this is a guy that was drafted into the NFL. His career maybe didn't go the way that he wanted to player-wise, and he's one of those people that can coach it and teach it and talk about it better than he could actually. That moment right there when he's standing there going, this guy that everybody gave up on, that everybody said all the things that he couldn't do, that we took in here, and he's weathered it all. He's going to lead us to potentially being the 1 seed, and he's going to lead us to potentially winning our Super Bowl this year. I think that moment, you watch a coach see so much through a player and just understand how impactful the locker room relationship is. I think that's the moment that makes it very difficult to see Sam Darnold at least not trying to play for the Vikings again.
Couldn't agree more. Let's go to Shannon now, because Jayden Daniels has been another player that has really carried his team. He is a rookie, and yet still Washington has clinched a spot in the postseason. So Shannon, quick take for you now. How far can Jayden Daniels carry this Commanders team in the postseason?
Man, he's had a phenomenal rookie season. He's going to be the unanimous Rookie of the Year, deservedly so. They had 4 wins last year, and now they got 11 with the potential of getting 12. So that's a 7 to 8 win increase. That just goes to show you the impact that he's had on this football team. And they got that stench, which is Daniel Snyder, out of the NFL. I don't believe they, honestly, Dan, I don't believe they could beat the Eagles. I don't believe they could go into Detroit and beat the Lions. I don't believe they could beat Minnesota. Whom else would they get after that? Could they potentially, if they play Tampa or they play Washington? Play the again, but they're not going to get the Falcons or Tampa. So I think it's going to be one and done because I don't believe they could beat any of the top 4 teams. I really don't.
I think they could beat the Rams. The Rams are a team right now that is really hot or cold for me. Matthew Stafford has not played great over the last 2 or 3 weeks. If he gets hot and plays like he has at times this year, I would agree with that, Shannon. I don't think that they could beat Philly. I agree with that. I don't think that they can go on the road and beat Detroit or Minnesota, whoever wins that division and gets that 1 seed on Sunday night next week. Tampa, I think they can get Tampa. They did this year if Tampa or Atlanta wins or Seattle. So the Rams. I think they can win a playoff game if it's one of the NFC West or NFC South winners.
Okay, the Eagles clinched the number 2 seed in the NFC yesterday with their 41-7 win over the division rival and the Cowboys. Eagles 13-3 also clinched the NFC East title, continuing tradition as there has not been a repeat winner in the NFC East for the last 20 years, which is wild. Over in the AFC, the Bills also clinched the number 2 seed after defeating the Jets 40-14 yesterday. Buffalo has taken the AFC East crown for a 5th consecutive time and won a franchise-best 13 games for the 5th time in team history. As for the team they beat, the Jets, let's check in on them.
Embarrassing, I don't even know if that's the word. Because what was the score the first time we played them?
First time was 23-20.
Exactly. And you telling me now it's 40-0, like, if you ask me, that means like it's the end of the season. Obviously, we're not going to playoffs. Some people might be checked out.
I mean, it was 33-0. We were sitting there, and I said at some point, probably go to Tyrod here, huh? And then the next play, they threw a screen for a touchdown. So it's 40-0.
Okay, so it appears that Aaron Rodgers is still figuring out the offense a little bit for the Jets, but nonetheless, I'm out of questions. Where did the Jets go from here? Go ahead, Dan.
It's total rebuild. I mean, it's a complete and utter total rebuild. This is one of the more disappointing seasons, certainly since I've been in this job. This was a 2-year situation when they acquired Aaron Rodgers. It was like, hey, this was a draft class and a team that had the defensive rookie of the year and the offensive rookie of the year. They have a receiver in Garrett Wilson that gets 1,000 yards with anybody playing quarterback. And so they acquire Aaron Rodgers, who was a 1 year removed from an MVP, and they have this unbelievably great defense. They've got 2 really good young backs. And to sit here and sit at 4 wins and just get completely annihilated by the Bills, who really didn't have a ton on the line to play for, the Jets have to go complete rebuild, hire a brand new general manager, hire a brand new head coach, philosophically completely change. The last time the Jets were good was when they had Rex Ryan as their head coach, and they were ground and pound and a nasty football team. That's what they have to try and rebuild.
Go ahead, Shan.
I agree. I can't argue with you. They're going to have to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately, it didn't work. And we've seen situations like that before. You bring high-profile guys in, and it doesn't work. Basically, you play for the name. He got injured in his first year. It would have been great to see what he could have done had he not got injured that first year. But we'll never know because he got injured 4 plays into the game, and this year's been a disaster. Now, you look at his stats and say, well, Shannon, he's thrown this many touchdowns, only has this. But when it mattered, Aaron Rodgers, these guys that you bring in, when it matters the most, that's when they're supposed to be at their best. And he's turned the ball over when it matters the most. He's thrown an interception. He's fumbled the football. That you just can't. When you just look at stats, stats can be deceiving. And when you watch just highlights can be deceiving. But if you watch the Jets play, you know Aaron Rodgers has not played well this year. That's not to take away from anything that he's done because he's still a 4-time league MVP. He's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's still one of the most gifted, transcendent throwers of the football the NFL has ever seen. But in 2024, Aaron Rodgers has not played well. The defense hadn't played well, and that what you were hoping, the defense was going to be what they were. And DR, I remember having this conversation. I said, when you bring a guy in like that, so you're telling me the defense is going to stay exactly where they were, holding people to 10 points, holding people to a couple of field goals a game. Because if they don't and he struggles, you're going to lose these games. And that is what happened this year. They're giving up. They've given up. The Buffalo beat them into submission. Nobody wanted to play. Aaron Rodgers go to Tyrod, huh? That's not your decision to make. We go back. I know you remember this. Kansas City Chiefs were beating the brakes off Tom Brady in Kansas City. Bill Belichick sent him right on back out there. That's not your decision to make. You're going to go to Tyrod here, huh? They probably should have went to Tyrod 5 or 6 weeks ago, huh? Because that's what Woody Johnson, if the reports are to be believed, that's what Woody Johnson wanted to do because he saw no indication that you could lead this team to where they needed to be. I just don't like that. We don't take ourselves out. We don't make recommendations. The coach normally pulls us out, D.O. You know, you play the quarterback position. The coach pull you out. Hey, that's enough. Ain't no sense in that we can't win this ball game. But I didn't go to the coach. Hey, coach, we down 30-3 with 5 minutes to go in the ball game. You still want us to go in there? I'll let him make that decision.
I do think that he has brought something good to this organization, Aaron Rodgers. We could disagree about the play, all that. I do think he has brought
a draft pick, high draft pick.
No. This is me being real. And I think it's valuable. He has gone on Pat McAfee's show a couple times, and he has mentioned the issue with leaking things out of that building. I do think that this is an important time for that Jets building organization, everybody. There isn't a championship culture there. There isn't a winning culture there. That's not how good places go about operating business, that constantly have this person, who it is, I have no clue, but leaking. You hear all these reports of how things are going in the locker room, or Garrett Wilson's upset with this, or the leaks of what the owner, Woody Johnson, says about a quarterback and Mike White, or with the conversations on plane rides home, or how this coach, all that stuff. Aaron Rodgers has brought light to that has to go away if the Jets want any chance to actually become a consistently well-operating and winning organization. I do think him bringing that up is a very, very important point for that organization.
I mean, Woody Johnson,
what about the culture of being accountable? Has he brought the culture of being accountable? What about mandatory minicamp? He's the wrong guy to talk about culture. Because, hold on, leaks got out in Green Bay. You remember how the leak got out that Aaron Rodgers wasn't involved in the coaches? And he's like, yeah, I wasn't. Do you remember how it got out that Mark Murphy, who's the CEO of the Green Bay Packers, said, Aaron, don't you be the problem? Them leaks of all, if there were no leaks, if there was no sources, there would be no need for an Adam Schefter. There would be no need for a Shams. There would be no need for a Jay Glazer and all these insiders. Leaks are going to continue. But he keeps talking about the leaking culture. What about the culture of the locker room? What about the culture of accountability? Only thing he brought to the New York Jets is a high draft pick this year. That's all he's done. He cost them probably about $80 to $100 million, and they get a top 10 draft pick. That's all Aaron Rodgers has done for the New York Jets. The fans are disappointed because that has not gone according to
You
plan.
hear a lot of leaks for a long time coming out of New England. You don't hear a lot of leaks coming out of teams that win like the Los Angeles Rams on a consistent basis.
Maybe the leaks follow. Hold on, Dio. Hold on. Maybe the leaks follow Aaron Rodgers. There were leaks coming out of Green Bay. There are leaks coming out of the Jets now. Huh? If you notice, I didn't hear anything about that Mike White situation.
You're
until
implying
he arrived.
he's the guy leaking, but then complaining that the leaks have to
Well,
go.
he is
I
one
ain't
of the
said
few
nothing.
quarterbacks that goes on national television every week. I will say, I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. The leaks. And listen, if everywhere you go it smells like poop, it might be you.